I don't care what nobody says. A couple of people have wrote in, but I like that jam. I know it's a little weird, but I do. I do indeed like it. Welcome to Sincerely Stan, where we talk about things that are important to you. Uh, Today's letter is a little unique. Not unique, but unique. Um, Today we have a story from a young lady who's an accomplished scientist who is in a relationship with an Uber driver. Um, and she cared to write in and share her story. Let's take a look and see where we're at with this. Dear Stan, I feel vulnerable writing this, but I truly do need an outside opinion. I've prayed and I'm looking for an answer to my prayer. I'm a 44-year-old scientist at a prestigious institution. I'm in a 6 month relationship. I'm in a 6 month relationship that I find refreshing. No, she said so refreshing. This guy's handsome, charming, adventurous, witty. He checks all the boxes except one. He works as an Uber driver. He's an aspiring, starving canvas artist who has created a portfolio of beautiful pieces that he hasn't begun to sell yet. He makes approximately $37,000 a year as a driver. He's able to support his bills, he just doesn't have a ton of extra cash to do things. My most pressing issue is my family and friends think I can do better. They say there are good men out there who are more sophisticated and better able to complement me in my path in life. I don't bring him around much because of how they feel. My questions are, do I succumb to the peer pressure of my family? Should I set my bar a little bit higher? Or do I give this relationship enough time to see how things play out despite what my people say? Signed, Confused and Happy. And that's a luscious combination. Confused and happy. You mix that together, what do you get? I'm not sure. But just let's take a look and have a talk with this young lady and see what we can sort out here for a bit. I've made my notes here. And first of all, I want to say that the first thing that you mentioned was the fact that uh, you have prayed, and in that, I think that's a step in the superb direction. So we're good there. We're good. You're good on your prayer and you're seeking wisdom, whether you take it or not. It'll certainly be up to you. But you're seeking wisdom. You are praying and you're waiting for God to answer that prayer. So I believe for you that's right, and that's the proper thing. The relationship is relatively new. It's a 6 months relationship, so that means that it's new for you, that it's new for your family members, that it's new for him, and so it's just new. So their opinions, and quite frankly, even your opinion at this point, it hasn't had enough time to really form solidly yet. So just when you're doing all you're considering, make sure you throw that in the pot and mix that up too, because that is true. Um, all the accolades that you gave this guy, he's handsome, charming, adventurous, witty. He checks all the boxes. I'll be honest with you. When I read that, I got a tad bit jealous. I was like, man, I wish somebody would say all those good things about me. But good for you, because that's an enviable position. That's a position that a lot of women would like to have that problem. So, or be in that position. So, you know, that's a good thing that you were able to say these kind of good things about this brother. Um, you put in parentheses, he's an aspiring, starving artist. Um, that's a precarious situation because the truth of the matter is, in terms of being a starving artist, meaning in our context here, that you're just doing something until you can get to where you want to be. Um, that's good ideology, but is that that has to become reality. And so you did say that the paintings are good. Um, so I would suggest here, well, yeah, but let me say this. I would suggest here to, if this is something that you really believe in this man regarding, I think the best thing that for you guys to do would be kind of maybe pool up together and see if you can, um, push his stuff and see what can come out of that. Because you never know until you try. You never know. You did mention he doesn't have a lot of cash. Um, I remember those days. It was like this: either you got a lot of cash or you don't. A lot of cash, you don't. Oh, cash is gone, but it comes back. So, um, what I in my notes, I was asking, for consideration, and I'd like, perhaps some feedback. You can, play some comments or DM me. Are you picking up the slack on these things? And if you are, how do you feel about that? Are you okay with it, or are you just doing it because it's necessary in order to be in a relationship with this man? Because that's important. Um, Sometimes we get emotionally blackmailed or pigeonholed into something, and it just evolves that way. But when we take a reality check sometime later, we're like, man, how long has this been going on? So, not that it's a cardinal sin to pick up a slack for your guy, but what I'm saying is, in your mind, is it justified? Are you really okay with that? That's all I'm saying. Um, I also noted here that um, in terms of this whole thing, maybe you should take a moment and, as you're moving forward, this gentleman, take a look, do some introspection, and see if your feelings are rationally justified for this man. I mean, I understand all the accolades in terms of the things which are wonderful, because they're parts of his character, but is he? Is this a case where he's a far cry from what you're used to, or is this somebody and you're infatuated, or is this somebody that you've really scaled back, peel back the onion of your heart, and taken a really reality look and see if it's something that you can do or would like to do? Does this gentleman qualify for that? So, you know, we need to do it, because I think sometimes when we just ride along the wave and don't stand back in and of ourselves individually and separate ourselves emotionally and physically from, the influence of those that we're having these affections for, I think we may err. I think we err in that way. Um, so I would say that just do that. Give yourself a rational, practical look at the whole situation and just see if it's something that that you really want to do for all the right reasons. About the family and friends, I personally don't think that family and friends' opinion should be discounted. I will say that. I know you probably didn't want to hear that, but remember, this podcast is all about truth. But I also will say that their opinion should not be your entire consideration, or not even, in my mind, a lion's share percentage. I think it should be duly noted, taken seriously, especially if you have loved ones and friends that love you, and you know that they know you and have your interest at heart, your pure interest at heart. Certainly consider what they say. But also do the things that we just got through mentioning. Continue to go to God, look for signs, continue to seek the opinions of others that might not be so opinionated or might not have that kind of emotional investment, and they maybe can tell you from a practical point of view. That's what I'm really trying to do here now. So, and girlfriend, just let me tell you, haters, haters. What's coming to my mind? Some people are made of plastic. Some people are made of wood. That even goes for our family members. Remember, in previous podcasts, I'm always talking about the real. The truth of the matter is, we have darkened hearts sometimes, and jealousy and envy just crops up. It just comes, even with family members, husband and wives. It happens. And sometimes people don't want to see us happy. And that kind of feeling even gets infiltrates our families, unfortunately. So, you have to consider the source too when you're hearing something, regardless of whether family, friends, or whatever the case may be. So don't discount, but certainly uh, look outside of what what they say. They're talking about people that can complement your path, and what I want to know is, professionally, I see that you know, you're on the road. No, not is it this one? One of them. You're on one of them. You're on your way. You've arrived, quite frankly. But I'm not talking professionally. I'm talking about these people are talking about how this man can complement your path in life. What is your path in life? Have you concluded what your path in life is? Because if you can kind of see a little bit about your future, then you would better be able to determine whether this guy fits into that framework. So, they mentioned your path of life, but I would ask, have you gotten to that point yet where, you're 44, but that's certainly relatively young. Have you gotten to that crossroad where you either have to go right, left, or straight because your life is just, that's what it warrants right now? Um, my thing is just to, what am I trying to say here? Continue to determine who you are for yourself. And people that love us, I mean, sometimes I think family members even try to vicariously live through us, you know what I mean? And have us accomplish or guide us directions that they wish they had have went, or so we reach heights that are higher than they've achieved. And I mean, there's nothing in and of itself wrong with that. But you and I and all of us have to ultimately choose our own path in life. And we need the guidance of God, absolutely. Sure, we need the guidance of those, who can be placed in mentorships and, and parental places and, relational places in our lives. But ultimately, the decisions are ours to make in spite of all of that. So, path in life, make sure that, you're going your direction and not the direction somebody else has chose for you. And so I just would advise that, because that's kind of catastrophic. If we just follow the paths of that our family members or somebody that has laid out for us, that makes for miserable people. Should you set your bar a little higher? Our relational bars, the bars that we make for people that do that for the kind of people that they want in their lives, they're usually based off of our past experiences, other people's past experiences, TV, social media, our friends and family, what we've experienced in their relationships, and all of this combination of things is all mixed up together, and then that's how we determine what is good for us, not just relationally, but in everything. That's where our bars come from. I'm thinking that a bar that we set for an individual, meaning somebody that we want in our life or considering in our life seriously for long term, I think that those bars need to be set after we kind of decide, why we want someone in our life. Because sometimes I think people, they get in our lives and they're in our lives for the wrong reasons. We have them in our lives for the wrong reasons. Because if it's a feel good reason, every day, and no relationship is going to be feel good. Ask people, anyone, stop somebody randomly and ask them if they've told you they've been married 20, 30 years, and no one's going to tell you that it hasn't been difficult. It's because people are complex, And when people come together, those complexities come together, and we have to learn how to make that work. And that's, ouch, that's painful sometimes. So our relational bars need to be set after we've established who we are, because then that bar will be set to finish the framework of our life. See, the bar will already be set, and the foundation will be firm, and you'll be good in who you are and loving you. And then we can love and better choose someone else for us too. I think that's my personal opinion. I'm sticking to it. I think that there's no harm. You want to know, should you go forward? And I think there's no harm unless other than time wasted, unproductive time wasted, you find out a year later. But we can even learn from the L's. I suggest that you give this relationship a little bit more time to develop. I would say that you move forward with eyes open. That doesn't mean suspiciously. It just means step back from emotional and just look at, after you look at this man, peel back the emotions, look at him and say, is this somebody that I feel, based off of how we interact, based off of his heart, his mind, his soul, is this somebody that I can spend some real longevity with? And make your determinations based off of that. But the better you know you, the better you'll be able to gauge that. The better you know your love language, the better you'll be able to show somebody what that is. So, it's all a working formula, but I think that he's worth investigating based off of what you say. I think if your family's snubbing him, I think you might need to bring him around more. I mean, blow me down. What are they going to do? But what I do know is that if he's truly loving on you, like you say, and they get a chance to look at that, that might help change their hearts and minds, because if they really love you and they see that you're happy, bingo, maybe he'll warm up on them. So sometimes we just need to, let people see how we interact, and then they'll have opinions about us. This man obviously warms your heart. I think the duality is coming from your confusion, is coming from the fact that others have these strong opinions and these people that you care about. But I will say this, in today's, you wrote confused and happy. In today's world, if somebody can ignite our heart like this man has ignited yours, I think you owe it to yourself to give it a fair chance. So do that. And we'd love to have you come back. This is an interesting one. I kind of believe in this one. We'd like to have you come back, write back, or call back on our podcast, blogtalkradio.com/Sincerely Stan, ATL. You can actually listen to our audio shows, and when they're aired, you can actually call in. However you want to do it, I'd love for you to follow up in, say, 6 months and just see how things went. And let us see if, first of all, if Sincerely Stan gave you some good advice. And secondly, let's see if your feelings, your inclinations were right, then perhaps this is the guy for you. So it'll be good. So that's all I got this time. Remember, this podcast is a community affair, and we love to hear from you. Until the next time.